That was way more of an emotional roller coaster than I was expecting. Clerks 3 is a brand new 2022 comedy film directed by Kevin Smith, starring Brian O'Halloran, Jeff Anderson, Jason Mewes, Kevin Smith, and Trevor Fairman. And yeah, as you could tell, I was very, very excited for this movie. I reviewed every View Askew Universe film leading up to it. I've got Clerks 1 and 2 on display in the background of this video. And like I said, this was just way more of a emotional roller coaster than I was expecting it to be. So let's go ahead and start off this review, and starting off with the good. There's a lot that I really love in this movie, and I'm going to keep it as vague as possible because I really want people to see this with as little spoilers as possible. But first of all, Brian O'Halloran and Jeff Anderson are back as Randall and Dante, and they are just as great as always. And I just really love the individual performances of both of them. Brian O'Halloran gave such an emotional, raw performance in a lot of scenes in this movie, and the amount of human feelings that Dante feels throughout this movie is just absolutely amazing. Brian O'Halloran definitely brought his A game with this film, and I know this film's probably not going to get any Oscar nominations, but just about everybody in this movie was great, Oscar worthy in my opinion. And Jeff Anderson as Randall, he's the main focus of this movie, and he does just as great as he always does. And this is probably, once again, the most emotional performance from Jeff Anderson, just like this was also the most emotional performance from Brian O'Halloran. They are both absolutely terrific, and seeing their friendship build throughout these three films, it's just really, really great seeing all of it come together into this final chapter of the trilogy. And aside from them, you have Elias back in this movie, played by Trevor Fairman, and he does a great job as well. He's actually given quite a bit of character development in this movie, and once again, it's more of a comedic character development, but I don't know, I just found it funny throughout the movie, these phases he's going through up until the third act. It's just funny to me. And obviously you have Jay and Silent Bob in this movie, and they're great as well. They're still the comic relief that they've always been, and Jason Mewes and Kevin Smith both do a terrific job. Silent Bob, when he speaks in this movie, still great, as it always is when Silent Bob speaks. And, you know, Jay still being the loudmouth fool. He's a little wiser in this movie, you know, because of his development in Jay and Silent Bob reboot. And I don't know what it was about Jay, but his teeth looked a little weird in this movie, but I don't know if that's prosthetics or something that Jason Mewes had to get done. I'm not sure, but I don't know. They were just a little odd, I guess, but whatever. Aside from the acting, this story is absolutely amazing. I won't get into it if you haven't seen the trailer, but it feels like probably the most personal movie Kevin Smith has made regarding his health concerns from a few years ago. Just the way that the story is put together, it just feels like it's personal for Kevin Smith to shape the story around what happened in this movie, specifically during the first act. It's just really great, and it's a beautiful, beautiful tribute to the first Clerks movie, which, you know, started Kevin Smith's career. And also, it's a beautiful tribute to friendship, growing old, and going through grief in some characters' cases. And I just really love this movie. Soundtrack's great, as always. The openings of this movie, I was not expecting the song they had in the opening act, but obviously it was great. It's one of the greatest songs ever written. I'm not going to say what it is, but you'll know if you see the movie. And then the third act just absolutely wrecked me. Even before the third act hit, there was a lot of scenes where I'm not afraid to admit I cried a few times in this movie, but especially in the third act. It was just a very emotional third act, and is probably the most emotional thing that Kevin Smith has ever done in a film, but that's about all for the good. On to the bad, and as of right now, while I'm filming this review, I cannot think of a single bad thing in this movie. A lot of people might find something to complain about or nitpick here and there, but this is just an absolutely beautiful movie. So on to the final thoughts. I just absolutely love this movie. It's one of the best movies of the year. It's probably in contention with Jay and Silent Bob Strike Back for my favorite View Askew-universe film, but either way, Clerks 3 is an absolutely beautiful film. Kevin Smith really created something special with this film, and I'm going to give it a 10 out of 10. So that was my thoughts on Clerks 3. Have you seen this movie yet? What did you think about it? If you have, let me know down in the comments. As always, if you enjoyed this video, don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, and I'll see you all next time.